Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Hit the thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do. It's very much appreciated. And like I always say, if you want to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and click on what appears to be that little bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, Keefe D says that he believes he will get his confessions about the orchestrated murder of Tupac Shakur terminated. So it is well known that Keefe D did make confessions in regards to him being involved in the murder of Tupac Shakur. This one is perplexing to me because the very statement that got him the proffer agreement and that he benefited from for so many years, he's now going to try to get that out when now being held responsible for the crime that he said he helped orchestrate. I'm going to go from here. Basically, what Keefe D is saying, Keefe D's basically saying, he said, look, Keefe D plans to stop his recorded boast of hunting down the rap icon in Las Vegas ever being heard in his upcoming trial later this year, basically is what he's saying. And then it goes into Keefe D basically saying that he will be fighting. He said those are fighting words come from Keefe D himself, known as Keefe D in the street circles, and his lawyer, Carl Arnold, who are optimistic that a 2009 taped interview with Metro Police will not be featured in the trial because it is legally problematic and worthless as evidence. Well, of course, that would be so in regards to Keefe D on Keefe D's behalf based on that fact. But like I say, nonetheless, this is the same statement in 2009 that he had gave to the Metro Police Department, right? And I believe that is the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, if you will. Keefe D admits to being the ringleader of the Southside Crips who hunted for Tupac after he beat up nephew Orlando Anderson on September 1996. Keefe D's lawyer says has exclusively revealed he will file papers to have the 2009 confession, which has not yet been released to the public, thrown out of the case. Now, so this is not the one that Greg Kading them got when they did the interview. This is the interview where Keefe D did a interview with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department that I was trying to tell everybody that nobody knew about at that particular time, right? So this is another confession that Keefe D made to the Las Vegas Police Department that they're going to try to get thrown out. See, this one is important based on the fact that this is something that was collected by the Metropolitan Police Department and not the LAPD in the situation involving Greg Kading that gave Keefe D the proffer agreement. See, this is very important to distinguish the two, you know. So he talked to the Vegas police, right? And did a taped interview with them, right? In 2009. Excuse me. In 2009, right? So Keefe D told Arnold that he only allowed Metro to interview him on the promise of immunity. Now, if they promised him immunity and they did not give him immunity, right? Or he didn't have that written before he spoke, then that was up to Keefe D. That was a bad move. But citing a transcript he obtained, Arnold revealed that officers noted his client interview was on the record and could be used in criminal cases. My God. Come on, y'all. Did y'all read that? Keefe D, listen, Keefe told his lawyer that he only allowed the Metro to interview him on the promise of immunity, but he didn't get the immunity in a written agreement. But citing a transcript he obtained, Arnold revealed that officers noted to his clients in that interview was on the record, that it was on the record and can be used in criminal cases. And the crazy part about that is basically Keefe D kept talking. He kept talking with the promise, not of a not of something written in stone where he could, basically say, hey, you know what? They offered me this immunity and this is what I was supposed to get, but I didn't get it. And so therefore this statement cannot be admitted. No, the officers told him in the interview that it was on the record and it could be used in criminal cases. But I think what Keefe D thought basically was that he had to deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office, so it really didn't matter from that perspective. And at that point, it probably didn't. And they were, there was a across the board leveling of minds as far as the U.S. Attorney and the Nevada police, that he had confessed and they had what they needed and the cooperation that they needed involving anything else that they needed at that particular time, right? But Keefe D basically talked to the Metropolitan Police Department, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in 2009 and confessed to the murder and confessed to his involvement. This is on side of what he gave Greg Cady and them that got him the proffer agreement, right? Most people don't know that, and they're saying that this particular interview has not been released to the public. Whew. So I don't think he's going to be able to get this thrown out because they already told him in the interview that it could be used in criminal cases. And he is fighting now a criminal case involving the murder of Tupac Shakur. So I really don't know how this is going to pan out. But then, like I said, as we delve a little bit deeper into it, right? The confusion, along with a claim that Keefe D mysteriously changed his story about the hiding of the murder weapon during the Metro interview, makes Arnold raise doubts about the legitimacy of the tape and authorities' actions, right? Oh, so in this interview, the one that has not been released to the public, they're basically saying the confusion, along with a claim that Keefe D mysteriously changed his story about the hiding of the murder weapon during the Metro interview, right, makes Arnold raise doubts about the legitimacy of the tape and the authorities' actions. So in this interview in particular, Keefe D told them that he hid the murder weapon. So that's why they're going to basically say, well, y'all don't have a murder weapon, right? No, because Keefe D admitted in the Metro interview in 2009 that he hid the murder weapon. Come on, man. What? And so I don't know what Keefe D was listening to when he went in to talk to the police and talking to the police at all. You know what I mean? If he felt like he didn't have anything to do with it. So he's been confessing since 2009. But not only did he confess, he basically told the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in that interview that he actually hid the murder weapon. So you know how the argument's coming across. They're saying basically, oh, you know what? Well, they ain't got no murder weapon. They don't have this because Keefe D allegedly told them in this interview in 2009 that he hid the murder weapon. Arnold told the Sun, I'm going to do a motion addressing that issue shortly. The motion will be to dismiss the tape. I don't think that motion's going to work. I truly, honestly don't. That motion is not going to work. The motion is going to be coming down the pipeline pretty soon, within 2 to 3 weeks after that. Keefe D's lawyer says that Keefe just lied to Metro Police, believing that he would not face any legal ramifications. What? That doesn't even sound right. Come on. So basically now he said he lied about saying he hid the gun. He lied about his involvement. This is to the police. Based on the fact that he had the deal at that time, I am sure, with Greg Cady and them, he had that deal in place. And when he went and talked to the Metro Police Department, he thought that he had a broader immunity involving the situation with talking to Metro, which is the state, and dealing with the situation with the LAPD, with the PCP charge, and then now him cooperating, getting the proffer agreement. Those are two separate things. And his lawyer, if he did go in there and talk with a lawyer, was supposed to let him know that, right? But once again, he broke the proffer agreement by keeping on doing those interviews, doing these other podcasts and things like that. So I really, truly, honestly, man, I don't think that's going to work. Keefe D has put himself in a situation that no individual involved in any kind of criminal activity would want to put themselves in. If you want to be clear with that. That this is outrageous. You know what I mean? And so we go a little bit further into it, and like I said, once again, to help understand what it is and how this is going. Yeah, it's not really a good look at this particular point. Then it says, Keefe D lawyer states Keefe's comments are worthless, not according to the DA, and that the DA should have never taken them seriously, as his client believed there would be no repercussions to what he said to detectives. My question is, why did he even speak to detectives if he ain't had nothing to do with it? Why would you go in there and start confessing and doing all of this talking if you didn't have anything to do with it? Not only that, but they said that when he began the interview, this interview is on record and can be used in criminal cases. I mean, that right there would have stopped, I guess, the normal person from saying anything, right? Then it goes on. Keefe D's lawyer told the Sun he had read the transcript, right, of this 2009 interview, right? So basically, the prosecution, the DA, is now sharing evidence with Keefe D's attorney, if you will. They're basically doing discovery, if you will, and they're sharing information. And then the DA shared in the police office, in the police department. He probably could have got that in himself, if you will, Mr. Arnold. Basically said he had read the transcript of this 2009 interview, and Keefe D changed aspects of his story about the hiding of the Glock pistol, which was fired by a Crip kill Tupac, to kill Tupac, if you will, right? Now, most people, and as we've been going over this, right? Most people have been saying, well, hey, you know what? They don't have no murder weapon, if you will, right? But we know why they don't have a murder weapon now, correct? Keefe D basically told them that, hey, you know what? I hid the murder weapon in the interview with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in 2009. So therein lies the answer to the question. And now, once again, what's going to be taken under consideration is when he thought he had immunity and thought that he could face no charges at that particular time, Keefe D felt like he could be honest because he would face no ramifications. So why would he lie, right? I wouldn't have talked at all. If you already had a deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office, why are you going in and talking with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, right? When he said, he would talk under the condition of immunity, they hadn't granted him no immunity at that particular time. And told him once again that this is on record and can be used in criminal cases. Wow. I don't know what he was thinking, man. But as we move forward, this is real crazy, man. This don't even really make any sense, then it goes on. Keefe D's lawyer basically saying that guy Dupree, which was one of the detectives, was there, right? And the lawyers have stopped the tape, go off the record, and then he comes back and gives a story that he gave on the proffer about the gun, right? But he had just answered earlier he didn't know anything about the gun, that Orlando was the one that put it in the car, right? So there's a little bit of ambiguity there as far as, that story being correct and who said what and when he said it. But like I said, nonetheless, if Dupree was there, because Dupree was at the original proffer agreement that gave Keefe D the deal, right? So evidently this interview took place, like I said, after he got the proffer agreement. So Keefe D's thinking when he goes talk to Mestro, he's protected and he has this broad immunity, right? Which he's kindly mistaken. As you see right now, he's sitting in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Las Vegas, right? But peep this. The guy, Dupree, who was there, basically, once again, because Keefe D was trying to tell a different story. And so the guy Dupree basically saying, hey, Keefe, you telling a different story than you told us that gave you the proffer agreement. So they cut off the tape, right? Went off the record. Then they came back on the record and then basically letting Keefe D know, hey, but he just answered it earlier. He didn't know anything about the gun, that Orlando was the one that put it in the car, right? So now he was trying to put it on his nephew. See, this is problematic all the way around, because, you know, one minute claiming to be a gangster, then the next minute, you know, you're mentioning your nephew, and, you know, and you don't have immunity with the state Las Vegas Police Department, but yet you're talking and continuing to talk about this situation, right? And basically they saying Keefe D's lawyer saying you cannot make this stuff up. Arnold, Keefe D's lawyer, then alleged that the LA cops were trying to push Metro into filing charges against Keefe, but the entire procedure is legally problematic and blurred. My understanding is Dupree orchestrated it. So basically what they're saying now is the guy Dupree, he orchestrated some kind of situation involving Keefe. Well, he would have to orchestrate the PCP, you know, ring and all of that to bring Keefe D, and then now to want to, you know, turn state's evidence, or then want to confess in regards to that, as far as that goes, right? Say Keefe D has advised me that basically how he was convinced to do it, that it was part of a parcel of the proffer, right? So it was part of the deal for the proffer. And I don't really understand what that means, you know, at this particular point, because he agreed that everything he would tell them would be the truth. But go to the end of that interview, and at the end of the transcript is the last 2.5 pages. They are all very clear that no promises or anything had been given to him, right? So what was the deal for? If they're saying basically no promises were given to him, and I'm thinking he's talking about this Metropolitan. Now, if that's the case, then why did he talk? If you go to the end of the 2009 interview, the one that Keefe D's lawyer is talking about, then why would he even talk if there were no promises given? It doesn't make sense. That goes against his client, not against the DA or the Metropolitan Police Department. Keefe D should have got up and walked out of there as soon as they said they wasn't going to give him no deal. I mean, from a legal standpoint, right? Right or wrong. Therefore, I take this as probably worthless. This is what he's saying, but I don't think so. Like I said, this is on the record and can be used in criminal cases, and it stated that much from what Keefe D's lawyer said when they started the interview. They're specifically going on the recording saying that there's no promises, no guarantees, nothing has been offered to you because of this statement, right? They basically told Keefe D that. Okay. Arnold says Keefe did what he felt meant he would stay out of trouble because there was no criminal case filed after he spoke to the LAPD. My point exactly. You know what I mean? So once Keefe D had talked to Greg Cady and them, right? He felt as though, you know what? I'm good. I'm out of the woods. They can't do nothing to me. And, you know, I'm straight, if you will, right? But that's not how this works, because like I said, he had to deal with the U.S. Attorney's Office, not with the Metropolitan Police Department, if you will, right? So therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem, right? And so we go into it. So his attorney, Carl Arnold, veteran Arnold, feels that Keefe's confession contradicts what he told the LA Gang Task Force unit officers months earlier. Keefe gave an interview to officers Greg Cady and Darren Dupree in fall of 2008, which was a year earlier, outlining his role in the murder of Tupac by his nephew, Orlando Anderson, right? However, that 2-hour, 20-minute admission was made under a deal for protection from prosecution, known as a proffer. Months later, Arnold says Dupree arranged for Keefe to speak with the Las Vegas homicide cops about the Pac death as the case remained open. Bad move. Bad move. See, yeah. My question is, where was Keefe D's lawyer? You already had the proffer in place. You didn't need to talk to nobody else unless that was part of the proffer agreement. And if that was part of the proffer agreement, then it should be then it should have been protected under, him talking to the Metropolitan Police Department also. It probably was until Keefe D went out and kept doing those interviews. If you understand where that's coming from, right? So months later, Arnold says Dupree arranged for Keefe D to speak with the Las Vegas homicide cops about Pac's death as the case remained open, right? So it remained open. They knew under the proffer agreement what had happened based on Keefe D's testimony. Arnold says police on the tape never gave Keefe any promises of immunity, and that strengthens Keefe's case. How? I don't see how that strengthens his case. Based on what? Right? Unless they told him that he was covered under that proffer agreement in giving a statement to the Metropolitan Police Department. And what they did was they clearly said that it didn't. Right? And he admitted to that just not too long ago, right? Obviously, Keefe was lying. So now here comes the he was lying thing, right? Obviously, Keefe was lying. He doesn't even stick to what he said in the proffer in the middle of the 2009 Metro interview, right? This is what they're saying. We don't know if it's true or not, right? But this is what they're saying. So now, you got to understand something. Keefe D went and talked to the Metropolitan Police Department, right? And didn't have any kind of protection. The only protection that he had at that time was with the LA gang unit in which he got the proffer agreement. They did not stipulate that he would be protected under that agreement when he went and talked to Las Vegas. And the Las Vegas Police Department, they made sure that, hey, you know what? This can be used in criminal cases. They said it. So I don't know how he's gonna get this one thrown out. I really don't. And then we move a little bit further. Basically, it says, explaining the complicated nature of the case further, Arnold says he is not concerned even if Judge Carly Kearney allows Keefe D's 2009 confession into evidence, because 9 times out of 10 she will. Like I said, it states clearly that this can be used, and it will be used. Trust me. They're not going, no, I don't. I mean, it's a lot of, he's doing a lot of talking in the media, but the strategy that I think Keefe D's lawyers using is not a good one. He states that the former Clark County District Attorney had no confidence of winning a case against Keefe D in 2009 with the confession, and the tapes adds no real extra evidence, right? Okay. But now he's charged, and now they can use this statement. So that changes the dynamic of not how he does it, but when he does it for the prosecutor, right? Last month, short clips of Keefe D's Metro confession taped emerged through ABC News, but it had not fazed Davis or Arnold. As yet, has not to be made available through public court records, with no confirmation from the DA independently confirming the tape will be used in the November hearings. Oh, best believe it will. When asked what his takeaways from Keefe D's confession, Arnold replied, "My takeaway is this. Bottom line, in 2009, you had all the evidence right there in front of you. I mean, the story, for all our intent and purposes, hasn't changed, right? And that is, you got the gun, you got it from Zip, gang affiliated Eric Von Zip, you gave it to Orlando, Orlando shot Tupac, right? That's what he said basically in 2009, and also that after that fact that he had hid the gun. So where's the weapon? They got the answer to that question, right? Where did he get it from? They got the answer to that question, right? Who shot Tupac? According to Keefe D, they got the answer to that question. Who gave the gun to Tupac? I mean, who gave the gun to Orlando? They got that. They got that from Keefe D, right? He confessed to all of that, right? And his lawyer's basically saying, you had that information in 2009. Why did it take you this long to go ahead and prosecute? Well, like I said, it's not when you prosecute, but it's how you prosecute that wins the case, right? And Keefe D lawyer knows that much from that perspective. He said, I mean, if you look at this, at the others, he said, I mean, if you look at all the other stories, those are the main components of how Keefe D would be criminally liable for the case. So you had all the central parts back in 2009. What we have heard, what have we heard that is different? Think about it. Really nothing. So now, this is important, right? This is important. And so the fact of the matter is that Keefe D remains at the Clark County Detention Center. It said Keefe D remains at the Clark County Detention Center after failing to post bail. He maintains his innocence and the trial begins in November, right? Okay, now look. I understand Keefe D's lawyer's argument, but it doesn't, because see, what we didn't know that we now know for sure, Keefe D confessed where the gun was, that he hid the gun. We knew about all of the other stuff he said because he said it on Vlad, he said it on Art of Dialogue, he said it in all of these other places, right? But there's no statute of limitations on murder. And see, that's the thing that Keefe D's lawyer doesn't want to focus on at this particular point. And I don't think he should focus on that. He's going to try to come up with a viable fight. And like he said in this interview, he basically saying that even if the judge does allow it in, he feels like it wouldn't hurt his client. Oh, yes, it will. Oh, yes, it will. Because the argument that Keefe D's lawyer offered up just a few months ago was there's no murder weapon. Right? So if Keefe went on record with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department saying that, yo, I hid the gun, well, then we understand why there's no murder weapon. That makes Keefe D even more guilty by that admission. And the fact that the Las Vegas Police Department, during the beginning of that interview, say this interview is on record and can be used in criminal cases, despite Keefe D being under the proffer agreement that he signed with LAPD, the gang unit in the United States Attorney's Office a year earlier, is devastating. And I think Keefe D's lawyer knows that. So, like I said, this is going to get interesting. This is going to get interesting, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Your boy DELRAY, straight gang.